Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? And I think honestly, there's to some extent like a level of convincing yourself. And on the backside of that, not only convincing yourself, not only being vulnerable, not only putting the date out there, but the follow through. Because I think that the only way, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this. You talk about getting this place of building a zone of genius. One, I would like you to break that down for us, but two, what I'm curious about leading into that, would I be correct in assuming that finding your zone of genius is an iterative process?
100%. I love the idea of the Greeks had this idea that you weren't a genius, you had a genius. So everyone had a genius. And the idea it was they personified it like a little angel on your shoulder. So everyone would have a genius, you just need to tap into it. A lot of famous poets talk about this as well, where they say that they don't even know how they write what they write. They just tap into the energy and it flows, but they have to they have to sit down and put in the work, and eventually sometimes they tap into their genius. And the idea is that in order to find that moment of brilliance, right? Give you an example. Albert Einstein, what is he known for? Right? He's known for a couple equations. Think about your entire life. Life is short, but also to an extent, life is long. There's a lot of things that happen in your life, right? Imagine the only thing that happened in your life was this one equation. And it came to him in a moment. It really did. There was an aha moment. And he wrote it down. And then, of course, he said, okay, let's reverse engineer it and let's figure it out. But it took him a long, 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 long time to have that one spike. So I think the same. He was. I was just reading a book about him, and they thought he had to go to a special school because he wasn't able to talk very well, and he wasn't even really that good at math. He was more of a big ideas guy, and he needed mathematicians to help improve his concepts because he wasn't even that good at math. The point is that it took a long, long time of iterating and practicing and deliberately practicing and trying lots of different things and going against the grain, even when people doubted him. And you see this all the time with writers that are known for one book. Okay, you wrote one book. Maybe it took you 2 years. Well, you were alive for 80 years. So the other 78 years, you were you were you were not writing that book, right? So it takes you got to like lower the pressure. I think it's weird. You have to. There's a book called Billionaire Brain, and it says that billionaires are able to uh, have seemingly paradoxical or dichotomous beliefs in their brain at the same time, right? So if you want to find your zone of genius, you both have to uh, be okay with, kind of iterating and failing all the time, and knowing that you don't really know, and just being okay with that. But also at the same time, you have to increase the stakes. So on the one hand, it's like, it doesn't matter. I'm just practicing. I'm going to figure it out, right? Lower the stakes on this side. But on the other side, while you're doing the thing, you have to go all in because that's how you attain mastery. So you have to take a full swing. You might take thousands of full swings, but each swing needs to be a full swing. And I think if you can balance those two ideas in your brain at the same time, eventually you're going to have an aha moment or a series of aha moments that will coalesce hopefully into you finding whatever your zone of genius is. I think that also there's this idea. I think that people create uh, false dichotomies. Going back actually full circle to one of the first things that you said, where people will have lots of what they consider disparate skills, and they say, "Oh, I'm kind of shallow in all of them." I was in Egypt, and I was talking to a lady who runs a school for basically teaching advertising in Egypt. It was in Cairo, and she came up to me afterwards very humbly because she was a teacher there, and she said, "Hey, I have this problem. I'm good at advertising, I'm good at HR, but I really want to be a teacher." And she said, "So which should I choose?" And I said, "Your competitive advantage, where you may be top 10% in the world of advertising, you may be, let's say, top 20% in HR, and you might be top 25% at teaching, right? But if you combine those three into one position, you may be top 1% or top 1% of the 1%, because that the middle of that Venn diagram is your sweet spot. That is your zone of genius. That's where, so instead of thinking, well, I really like video editing, but in my free time, I like, you know, uh, science fiction, right? And then I like coaching. Okay. Well, is there a way to find a middle there, right? Can you teach other people how to do video editing using science fiction as an example, right? Now all of a sudden you have you, and the thing that people will buy, especially nowadays, is authenticity. So don't be afraid of really digging into who you are.